Hey there. Welcome to a higher dimension. I'm Gloria Danvers from Gloria Danvers Hypnosis in Orlando, Florida, and I'm your host for a higher dimension. As a hypnotherapist, I work with everyday people who are having amazing experiences in the fascinating world of past life regression, therapeutic hypnosis, spiritual awakenings, and paranormal experiences. Join me and my guests every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. as we explore their powerful stories and extraordinary experiences together. Not only will you hear their stories, but we will also talk about what comes next. What happens after you have this experience? Does it change you? Who are you? And what do you know now that you didn't know before? We'll dive into some deep, eye-opening conversations that you won't want to miss. If you're interested in working with me and having your own amazing experience, you can contact me at gloriadanvershypnosis.com. If you're here listening to this podcast, chances are that you are ready for this experience. So shoot me an email. Book a free consultation. Maybe it's time for you to shake up what you think you know about yourself, who you've been, and where you're going. You can catch me on Apple Podcasts, iHeart.com, Spotify, Podbean, and Podchaser. But right now, just sit back and relax, and let's uncover the hidden depths of the human experience right here on a higher dimension. Hey there. This is Gloria from Gloria Danvers Hypnosis. Welcome to a higher dimension. A few weeks ago, I did a podcast in which the topic was about some of the signs that you might have lived another life. Now, in that podcast, I did touch upon some different things that you might not have known about past life regression. And I've gotten a few questions about that. So this podcast is about answering those questions. So a lady wrote in and asked me about agreements and contracts that spirits might have together. And is everyone that you come in contact with or have an interaction with part of your soul group? So this is the way that I see it. The spirits in your soul group are the souls whose vibration, intentions, and missions most closely align together. Your core soul group will have the matching frequencies and have the common goal of moving up, moving forward vibrationally by learning, helping, and sharing with those in their group. There's also your soul family, which may be different individuals that you feel a particularly close connection to. And those are the souls that you repeatedly incarnate with. Whether we are interacting with our soul group or with our soul family, our participation in the group is to help each other create circumstances under which we can grow. Now, this might bring a vision of soft spirits gently hovering and helping each other softly along the path, but that's not always the case. As I said before in my other podcast, the worst people in your life may be part of your soul group, and their intention is to help you. And it is a great thing to love someone enough to agree to be the darkness by which they learn to shine. There's a children's book written by Neil Donald Walsh called The Little Soul and the Sun. And the short version is that a little soul decides that it wants to know itself by learning to forgive. But what is there to forgive? So another soul agrees to do things that are not so nice in order that the first soul will have the opportunity to forgive. Life's lessons are so much more complicated and yet so much simpler than you would ever dream possible. Once you understand this concept, you don't ask yourself, why did this happen to me? You begin to ask yourself, why did this happen for me? What will happen for me and the other person or people in this scenario if I approach the situation with love and compassion? Now, I understand that that is really hard to do when someone has hurt you. But by the same token, if you understand that there is a purpose to that, somewhere inside you, it does make it a little easier. And even if that were not true, under what circumstance is love not a better answer than anger and hatred and revenge? And the plan, the way forward, is not necessarily just for you, but it is also for the person or people that you've interacted with. We all have those contracts with each other. And the contracts tend to put us in a very intricate dance because each step plays a part and has a meaning. Going back to the book about the little soul, it is just as much benefit to the soul who chooses to play the dark as it is a benefit to the soul who is choosing to play the light one. Because no matter what part we are playing, the ideal situation is that there is mutual benefit for both. You're both learning what it is to be what you have chosen to be, and to possibly overcome that or even enhance that in this particular lifetime. You may be learning to forgive despite being hurt, and the person who has hurt you may be learning that actions have consequences and that better choices can be made. In each scenario, there is a soul development that is good for the group, because you're not just interacting for each other, but you're taking that information, you're taking that experience back into the group so that all of you may grow. Now, what happens if you as a soul don't complete what you came to do? Or maybe you deviate from the intention in lifetime that you came here to experience. There's no judgment in spirit. Any judging that's going on is purely by you. So there's a life review in which you see where you might not have accomplished what you came to accomplish, where you might not have completed the experience, or maybe you didn't gain the knowledge that you came to gain through the life that you were living. So there's that life review, and you look at that, you look at all of it. And then it is up to you to decide whether you want to do this again. It is also up to you to decide whether you want to do it again in this form or perhaps in another way. That as we navigate the past life experience, that we are completely in charge of the life that we've chosen to experience. Now, I know a lot of people that say, I don't ever want to come back here again. I want to be finished because this is too much and I don't see the point. Life is hard. I get that. But the hard life is what promotes soul growth. And as the choices become more difficult and there's more nuance in our decisions to have a certain experience, the very thing that we hate in a human life is the very thing that we plan for and want and get excited about from a spiritual point of view. Everything. All your experiences, all your interactions, all your circumstances from the moment you place yourself in the womb of your mother, all of those are here to help you grow and to understand spiritual love, pure love. Love without asking. Love without conditions. Love without demands. Just pure, complete spiritual love. And to do that in almost every challenge. Because every challenge can be made better by the application of love. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be strong. It doesn't mean that you don't set boundaries. It doesn't mean that you have to accept the life that someone else is intent on making sure that you live. It means that you do all of those things. And yet they're not done out of anger. They are done out of love for yourself. Standing up for yourself is not an act against anyone. It is an affirmation of your right to choose yourself first. Those decisions are also made with love for the other person involved. Spiritual love is different than physical love. And the best thing that you can do, the most loving thing you can do, is give someone the space to be who they are, and experience what they need to experience. That's why you came in together, so that one would hold the line while the other one went through that experience. And you both learn, one by holding the line and the other by going through that experience. That's the reason that we go through so many past lives, because those are our opportunities to have every experience in every relationship, to understand ourselves in every way that we possibly can, according to the divine order of things. So when someone says to me, I think I had a past life, I kind of smile to myself and I think, oh, you've had a bunch of past lives, but let's begin with this one. In my view, past life regression is the opportunity to understand why your relationships are the way they are, why you make the choices that you do, and what you might have brought in that is actually a tool instead of a challenge. One of the most powerful shifts that a human being can experience is a reframe. And a reframe is a way of looking at things from the perspective that is positive and empowering for you, instead of negative and disempowering. A reframe can be as simple as saying, why is this happening for me instead of to me? It can be as simple as substituting the word challenge for the word problem. When you get it deep into your head and your heart and your spirit, that every bit of what you are experiencing is all for you, you'll have a different point of view. A different point of view of yourself and everyone else. And when you can do that, that is what will accelerate your spirit growth even more. And really, that's the game. The whole reason for being. The learning is the growth, the love, and the lessons. So thanks for joining me here today. I hope that I was able to once again feed your brain and your soul and your heart something to think about, something to turn over and ponder, something to spark your interest, and something to open a door in you that might have previously not been opened. I'll be back next week with another wonderful guest. Until then, keep your mind and your spirit and your heart open for whatever might come through a higher dimension. And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for joining me today on this episode of A Higher Dimension. I'll be back next week with more food for the mind, the soul, and some things to ponder and think about. If you'd like to get in touch with me, ask me a question, or book a consultation, you can reach me at my website, gloriadanvershypnosis.com. You can book a free consultation. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, bye.